Here we go. Let's begin with question 1 then. Question 1 is just a simple multiplication question. And so in between these two brackets, there's nothing there. It means it's multiplying. They're multiplying together. Okay? So what do we do here? We're going to multiply what? We multiply the numbers first. You take the two numbers. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And then what we do is, once you do the numbers, we then do the letters. We do the x's. So what do you get? The x squared times x is what, Kenzie? Perfect. Perfect. And then we continue on, and we're going to do the y's. Y squared times y cubed is y to the what, Justice? Okay. And the z's, lastly, what do you get for that? Dominic? Thank you. There we go. Just like that. So that is which answer? That looks like it's question, just like D. Okay. 30 is very similar. I'm going to quickly here because this one here, instead of multiplying, I'm dividing. And so what we get here is we're going to divide the two numbers and get 6. Then I take the a's and I subtract the exponents. There's 6 a's on top, 4 on the bottom. So the 4 on the bottom cancel 4 of the top ones, and there's 2 left. So 2 left on top. What about the b's? There's 2 on top and 5 on the bottom. So 2 on top cancel 2 of the bottom ones, which leaves me 3 on the bottom. So the answer is D. That makes sense? We can do that quickly, but it's been a while since we've done that. But number 3. By the way, if you can't write, if you didn't get it down, it'll be on the internet, and plus I'm hoping to put this screencast on there as well. Okay, so for this one, what I would do is this. Before you try multiplying it, write it out. If you want to be safe, you want to make sure you do it right, write it out. Then go ahead and FOIL it. Okay, front, outside, inside, last. And you're going to get your x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. Then you're going to join the two middle terms in the middle here, get 10x, and so that gives you A. Right? It's not neat, but you can sort of see it there. Good. Number 4. This is a fairly challenging question. What's the biggest number I can take out of 45, 30, and 60? 15. Good. I take 15 out, and I look at the x's. There's 3 here, 2 there, and 2 there. So I can take how many x's out? Only 2. Good. How about the y's? There's a couple of y's there, 3 y's there, 1 y there. How many y's can I take out, Olivia?
Take out 2 y's.
2?
No, 1 y.
Only 1, because that's right, because they only have 1 y, and the last term only has 1 y. I can't take more than 1 out of that term. Z's, how many z's can I take out?
1.
Only 1, because this first term has only 1 z. So let's put a z there. That's what I'm going to take out. Then I put the leftovers, this multiplying a bracket, and I figure out what's left over in the bracket. So the first term is going to be 3 times 15. And I took 2 x's out, so there's 1x left. Take a y out, there's 1 y left, and there's no z's, because I took the z out. Then plus, and then it continues on, okay? And then minus, and then the last term. And so the answer for this one is, I'm not going to do the whole thing out, is C. How many people got all 4 of those correct so far? Put your hand up if you got all 4. Good, good. Great job. Okay. Let's go back up here to number 5 then. We're going to do some factoring. And this is a big topic. The other unit we did on factoring was unit 6, I think it was. So we're just going to take this, and in fact, there's no common factor, so put it 2 brackets. And x times x is x squared. The signs are going to be the same, because there's a plus there, and they're both going to be pluses, because there's a plus there. And 2 numbers multiply to give me 12, add to give me 8, and that is 6 and 2. So B is the correct answer. The next question is going to be similar. Let's just see here. Oh, this one here, we've got to put it up with two brackets again. X and X. Okay, what the sign's going to be? That's great. It's going to be a plus and going to be a minus. And so the numbers have to multiply to give me 12, and they have to subtract this time to give me 4, because they're different signs. The different signs are going to subtract them when they add them together. So what numbers multiply? Well, again, 6 and 2 is the same numbers again, but where does the 6 go? Where does the 2 go? The 6 is going to go on the minus. Why? Because we know this is minus, therefore the bigger number, it goes behind the minus. Very important. Okay, so there we got it there. B is the answer again. Okay. See, if you don't get all these down, don't worry, you can always get it off the internet. Okay, next question. I take out a common factor, but there is none. 9 doesn't go into either, 3 doesn't go into either. It goes in the first but not the second. Okay, so we got to try and break it down into 2 brackets. Now these 2 brackets are going to be identical if there's going to be no middle term. There's no x's here, right? Just x squareds and a number. So one's going to have to be a plus, one's going to be a minus. Okay. Now what goes in there? So how do we get that? If the identical brackets, the first terms must be the same. So take the square root of 9x squared, get 3x and 3x, and take square root of 49 is 7. There we go. A. A is the answer. Brings us to question 8. This one is a little bit more challenging. Let's go down a little more space here. First thing, see the word there? Completely. If it says completely or fully, we should kind of pay attention to those words. Might be a couple of steps here maybe. It might be more than just one step. So first step is I got to take out a common factor. 8 goes in all 3 of those numbers. Take it out. These are x squared minus 11x minus 12. And am I done? No. I need to ask myself, can I break that bracket down into 2 more brackets, into 2 brackets? So I think I can. So it's going to be in the side here. It's going to have inside it x and x, different signs, because there's a minus in front of the 12. And they're going to multiply to give me 12. Subtract to give me 11. What are the 2 numbers? 1 and 12, and the 12 goes behind the minus because it's because the minus there. And it's going to be 1, and that gives us the right answer. And so that's a D, right? D. Okay. Jump to the next page then. This is any questions. Okay, A, B, C, D. Which one is it? 2 and 5. D. Good, okay. Number 10. What's the slope of the following line summation? How do you, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a couple of places where it kind of crosses at an intersection. Looks like those are a couple of intersections. Then I count the rise and run. The rise is 1, 2, 3. That's 3. The run is 1. So the slope is going to be 3 over 1. Now I need to ask myself one more question. Is it a positive or negative slope? Olivia? It's a negative slope because Fernando's walking downhill. So that's going to be a negative 3. And so D again is the answer. D. Okay. Given the info. Okay, here we go. Midpoint. Midpoint. What's the formula look like? Looks like this. You're going to take the average of the x's and the average of the y's. You're going to add them together, divide by 2. So before we plug the numbers in, I have to do one more thing. What's that? Any idea, Rafi? I have to do one thing before I start doing this question. What do I have to do first? Sam? Label, that's right, label. Oh, do you want to go to the room? Oh, you're right? Okay, okay. That's quick. Wow. Okay, so label, let's label it. So we just do x1, y1, x2, y2. and I plug the numbers in. So let's plug those numbers in. X1 is 2 plus 6 over 2. So x2 is 6. And then the other one is y1 is negative 6 plus y2 is 16 over 2. And now we're going to add those together. 2 plus 6 is 8. And negative 16 plus 6, or negative 6 plus 16 is positive 10. Which gives me a final answer of 4, 5. There's my answer. Oh, there it is right there, B. Good. Okay. Good. So make sure you show your work. Well, this one's not so important, but the ones that later on coming up. Next question. Find the exact answer. You don't need a calculator for this one. What is the answer? Well, okay. Jessica, what do you think? What's the answer to this one? A, yes, right. You do the square root and square are the exact opposites, so they're just going to cancel each other out. 64 is the correct answer. You can square 64 and you can square root it and you get 64. Okay, good. That's an easy question there, hopefully. Over the page, just finish off a couple more questions here, and then one of the open questions. This one here, okay, I need this is what am I going to do here? How do I solve this question? What equation am I going to use? Oh yeah, use Pythagoras. Good. There we go. Pythagoras system. Okay. What's that? 12 was A. Can hear. 12 was A. 12 was A. 12 was A. Yeah. Go back there. Yeah. A was it. That's it. Okay. 13. I gotta label these sides first. A, B, C. So that I need to usually pick out. First, I pick out which is the C. Well, the C is always across from the right angle, so the C is going to be 17. So the other two are going to be A and B. A and B. So let's put those things in. So x squared, A is just x, plus 11 squared, plus 17 squared, plus 121 equals 289. And now, what am I done? Almost, or what do I do next? What do you Ashley, what do I do next, Ashley? That's right, because I want to get x's by themselves. So I do that to get rid of the 121, so x's are by themselves. I get x squared equals 160, I'm going to put 8. And is that it? No, that's not the answer. How do I get the answer? Well, I have to get rid of the square. So I have to square root. Exactly, square root. And x equals 13, it rounds to 13.0. It's 12.96 or something like that, right? Yeah, I remember someone last class said that, so I know it rounds to 13.0. Good. Which brings us to the open questions. These ones on the test, you must show your work if you want to get full marks. If you do not put, okay, a correct answer will give you a part mark. But showing your work will give you full marks. Okay, good. First question, I'm just going to multiply this. So, bomb it with the thing in front. Oh, Nicole, why don't you give me the answer of this one? $35x what? 2? Okay, can I hear you? Beautiful. Good job. Thank you. The next one, what we're going to do is I like to show you work, so it's best if you could try and do something like this. So you get all the marks for it. Fifth over, let's see, what's this? 3x squared again. So each of these terms gets divided by 3x squared. Cubed over 3x squared. Okay, so let's do this. 3 goes into 9 3 times. The x's cancel out. There's 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. I got 3. That's all I got. Next one, 3 goes into 21 7 times. And 5 on top, 2 on the bottom of the x's leaves me 3 x's left. minus 5x. And I'm just going to circle that to make sure the marker knows exactly what my answer is. There it is right there, Mr. Marker. And we're done. Okay. Next one, remove the, okay, common factor. We did this on the other page, one is like one like this. So 4 comes out, how many x's? 2 x's. How many y's? Which leaves me 4xy minus 6 y 2, is that right? Minus 7 x cubed, I think that's it. Because the y's are all taken out, right? There it is, that's the answer. Then we get to factoring. Do a few factoring questions here. Bang these off and we're getting near the end. Okay, so let's factor this quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in these. If you forget how to factor, check online. If you still can't get it, come and see me next couple of days before the exam, please. Okay, signs are going to be both same, both negative. Multiply, give me 54. Add to give me 15. 9 and 6. Or 6 and 9. Doesn't matter which way. They're both minuses, so it doesn't matter. Next one. Make my brackets. X, X. One's a plus, one's a minus. So you're going to multiply to give me 42. They're going to subtract to give me 11. What's the two numbers? 14, 3. 14 goes where? That's right. Bigger number's negative. There we go. Don't forget, I'll put that there. Bigger. The bigger, it tells me what the bigger number is, right? When the minus is at the back, that tells me the bigger number. Okay, next one. Let's do this. Okay, X, X. Signs are different again. Bigger number is going to be positive this time, right? Because there's a plus right there. Bigger number is going to be positive. So two numbers multiply to give me 24, subtract to give me 10, 12 and 2. There you go, done. Okay, next one. Next one. First step. Grayson, what do you think? Huh? What's the first thing you do? Put two brackets down or what? Nope. Nope. Don't put two brackets down first. First thing you do is take the common factor. This one has a common factor. 2 comes out of both. Don't forget to take that. So my 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times what is 32? 2 times 16 is 32. Now I can try and break that out into two brackets. But because it's two terms, the only way I can break into two brackets if they're exactly the same except for the numbers inside. Except for the signs. Sorry. So x times x is x squared. That's easy. What times y gives me 16? 4 times 4, not 8 times 2, because that'll give me a middle term. I want the middle terms to cancel out. This will give me a positive 4x and a negative 4x, which will cancel out. So that, my friends, is the final answer. Full marks for that. Part marks only for the first part. What brings, huh? Back up where? Right there? Okay. Okay, good. Which brings us to the last page. And now we need to know our formula. Okay, so length. What a formula to use? Distance. And what does that look like? It looks like this. Bracket. The x is subtracted and squared. Next bracket. It's going to be squared, and it's going to be the y's are going to be subtracted inside that bracket. So before I can put the numbers in, now what do I do? Alyssa, what do I do? What's the first thing I do here before I start doing any more on this problem? Thank you very much. Label it. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Every point has an x and a y. My first point, point 1, second point, point 2. Now you put the numbers in. make my gigantic square root again. My bracket plus and a minus and a minus. Okay, so let's put those numbers in. The numbers are x1 is 4, x2 is negative 6, y1 is negative 2, y2 is negative 8. Well, right away I can see that these are going to be a plus, and this is going to be a plus as well. So I'm going to get following. It's going to be 10 squared, 4 plus 6 is 10, plus negative 2 plus 8 is positive 6, and that's squared. Which brings us to 100 plus 36, which is 136, which is 11.7. There is our final answer. I'm sorry? I can't quite hear you. What about formula? You could get away without it if you'd want to, but make sure you do it correctly. Be very careful, okay? And the other thing is, I want to just mention, on the test we just did on that unit, I was really want you to pay attention, because a number of people, I gave you the equations on that test, and people wrote them down wrong. They plugged the numbers in and didn't write down the proper equation. They put pluses instead of minuses in some of those places. They forgot to put the squares on the brackets. They did all kinds of dumb little things that I think was unnecessary. Should have got 100%, but people were making mistakes. Not everybody, but quite a few people made mistakes. And I gave you the equation. So make sure it's correct in your cheat sheet for the final, so you write them down properly, okay? You don't have to write that first step down, but I encourage you maybe to try it. If you got time, you know. Okay, so next one, find the slope. Slope, what's slope? Slope is little m. And I have a point, so I'm going to do this. y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. That's the equation, right? Don't forget that. So what we're going to do is the same brackets, inside the brackets above is what we're going to have here. Except the y's are on top and the x's are on the bottom. Don't get those mixed up. That's the other thing people do a lot of mistakes on, is they're getting the wrong way around here, putting x's on top instead. It's rise over run. Y is the y direction. Okay, so I'm going to get 6 here. Positive 6, positive 10. Don't forget to reduce that to 3/5. Okay, and there's your answer right there, 3/5. That's the slope, rise over run. Midpoint. We just did a midpoint a minute ago. So I'm not going to write the whole equation down again. x1 plus x2. So this time x1 is 4 plus negative 6. And the other one's going to be negative 2 plus negative 8. Okay, so we'll add the tops and you get negative 2 over 2, negative 10 over 2, which gives us negative 1, negative 5 as our midpoint. There we go. Okay, any questions on that? I didn't write the formula down, but I wrote it down on a previous question there earlier on this, okay? Which brings us to the last two questions. And the last two questions are going to require us to use Pythagoras' theorem because they're to do with 90-degree triangles. First question, we've got to draw a diagram here. So you have superb drawing ability to draw a wall. Challenging at times to draw walls, I find, but there we go. And walls are generally 90 degrees to the ground, or floor, or whatever, okay? And we've got a ladder. So let's put our ladder up here. Okay, bam. And this thing is how far up the wall? I think it says here, which is okay, it's against the windowsill, which is 5 meters above the ground. So this has to be, I guess that's going to be 5 meters that up the wall there. And the 2 meters is on the bottom. The bottom of the ladder from the base of the wall is 2 meters. And I'm trying to find the length of the ladder. How long is that ladder? So we'll just call it X. That ladder is X. We don't know how long it is yet. We're going to find that out. So we have to label this thing ABC first, though. So Dustin, which is A, which is B, which is C? Maybe give me C first. I can't hear you. The X, good. C is the X, that's right. So the A and the B are the other two. Doesn't matter which order we put them in. So I'm going to do it this way. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Since I'm looking for C, I'm going to put it on the left-hand side. There we go. 2 squared plus 5 squared. 4 plus 25. So X squared equals 29. And lastly, take square root, and I get X equals 5 point, was it 4? Looks like about 4 to me. Okay, and there you go. That should be pretty straightforward, I think. Next one is a TV. Now when you buy a TV set, you should be aware that TVs, when they sell them, they advertise them, they say 72-inch TV. What are they talking about? They're talking about the distance from one corner down to the corner. That's 72 inches, okay? That's what they're talking about, the diagonal, always. Now the height of this thing, the questions, okay, there it is, 38, it's 38 inches. So the height is 38 inches. So 2 little marks like means inches. It's the same thing. Now I've got this cabinet. I'm not sure to buy this thing or not. I got this cabinet. It's 5 feet wide inside measurements. So it's 60 inches on the inside of this cabinet. It has to fit in there. So will this thing fit in? Let's take a peek. What we gotta figure out is right here. That's how wide is it, right? So luckily for us, we know that TVs are generally 90 degree in the corners. Generally. Ones I've ever had. And so I can use Pythagoras to figure out how wide this thing is without having to go down to the store to measure it. Instead of driving all the way down to Vancouver, this is a special deal in Vancouver, I just know this from the advertisement. I can just figure out how wide this thing is. So I need to use Pythagoras here. And I want to find, now what are these sides? Let's label them. Go ahead and help me out here, Miller. A? Right, because that's across from here, so that's going to be the C. Good. Let's see. Let's do this now. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I like to write it out just in case. So X squared plus 38 squared. This is going to be tough numbers. Hopefully you got calculators for the test. Okay, so X squared plus 38 times 38 is 1444. And 72 is going to be 5,100 maybe and something?
5184.
5184, thank you. And now I'm going to have to get x's by themselves, so I need to do some subtracting of this number here to get rid of it. Which is going to give me, let's see, x squared equals 3,700 and something? 740. Okay. Last thing, I need to take the square root now, and I get, the width of this thing is how much? Oh my goodness, will it fit? No, I need to buy a different TV. I'm not buying that one. Okay, there you go.
We have to write it, it's too small.
Sorry?
We have to write it's too small for the, or too big for this thing. We have to write words.
Well, you should, if it asks a question, you should answer the question. Okay, great. Okay, so test this next period. Let me